If you're a startup founder, you're going to make mistakes, a lot of mistakes. It's brutal and inevitable. The most successful founders I know do something painful and illuminating. They aggressively learn from their mistakes. Like serial entrepreneur and investor Mark Pincus. I got a chance to talk with Mark recently, and his insights blew my mind. Here's a brief excerpt from our conversation. Mark's 4 tips on running smarter startup experiments.
For me, the core lesson that I'm still trying to learn and I'm trying to share is that as product makers, we really need to be these scientists in white lab coats. To be successful, we've got to be passionate but not emotional, which is a weird juxtaposition. We have to separate our winning instincts from our losing ideas. And so what I look for is that signal that that entrepreneur is trying to tune into the instincts and they're not in love with their own ideas. Be careful not to let a B plus be the enemy of an A. It's easier to just fail with an F than with a B plus. So the B plus, you're getting some signals back that tell you it's worth going on, but they're not that crisp A. They're not yes. They're a little off. And what do you do with that? How do you recognize that? How do you know when it's a B plus you should kill or a B plus you should work into an A? Are you trying to learn? And I've been there. I started one of the first 3 social networks, Tribe, and I managed to fail. And I say managed to fail when everything worked. People opened an email that said, Amy wants to be your friend. Oh, cool. I'll be Amy's friend. What is that? I stubbornly held on to one losing variant, and I wasn't trying to learn. That was a painful lesson. And with Zynga, I said, I'm not going to do that. I'm really going to test and let this combination of intuition and data feedback loops drive me in the right direction. And so I'm looking for founders that are on that journey. And games, it's hard because so many game designers see this as an art. And it's art and science, much more so than an e-commerce site. No one cares if you copy the exact button location and color of Amazon, but they really care if you do that in a game. And so there's this respect for originality and a desire to be original. And how do you know when you're doing new for the sake of your player or for the sake of walking around and getting respect at GDC? I like to tell people that you want to give yourself this gift of a time machine. What if you could go forward in time 2 years, come back and talk to you today and say, dude, I've got some good news and bad news. The good news is you were right. The world did want another kind of social network that was blockchain, blah, blah, blah. The bad news is you were slightly off. It was a B plus and your variant didn't make it. What would you do with that information today? Would you just go on and say, okay, I'm just committed to this path? No, hell no. You'd say, great, I'm going to try 4 other variants and I'm going to increase my frequency tuners to what other people are doing. And I'm going to spend the next 2 years moving my ability to execute on this. I'm waiting for someone else to get the variant and show me the way. What is the breakthrough here? And I'm going to test a bunch myself, but I'm going to use everyone else in the market as part of my crowd-based learning and R&D. And it turns out if I had done that with Tribe, I think I would have been far more successful. If I said, okay, MySpace is a different variant and Facebook is really going deep on trust. So I'm going to build a different variant that is all about trust and .edu or inside the .com of your company. The first lesson to me to take away from that is to think about what you're doing in terms of your ability to execute and your ability to test and try lots of ideas and get your team thinking that way as well. Don't be too complicated. I was too complicated with Tribe. I love all my ideas equally. And it's so hard to just pick one of them. And I'm like, but how can I not do these other ideas? And with Tribe, I did so many more ideas than Facebook or MySpace or LinkedIn. They were all in Tribe. You had a professional profile. You had just a social personal profile. The tribes had threaded message groups. And Each of those could have been its own whole product or industry. We were before Reddit, but I couldn't go deeper than an inch on any of those ideas. To this day, literally yesterday, I said to my team, let's make sure that we're not doing tribe on our next product.
So there you have it. Mark's incredible advice on how to be wrong faster. Because as Mark says, it turns out that running smarter experiments is a hallmark of winning teams. And on the personal front, this really hits home. We've made some big changes recently based on some big mistakes, and you're going to see the results of that in the coming weeks, right here on Game Thinking TV. I hope you'll stay tuned and come along for the ride. If you want more of Mark's hard-won startup wisdom, check out this video right here. And if you're hungry for smart startup advice, you can subscribe right here and hit that bell so that you can level up your innovation skills with the smart tips that we publish every week. Here's to getting smarter together. I'll see you next week.